Yo, it's crazy. Just got married. Well, not really married. We had our partnership ceremony, so to speak. We were dancing like crazy. It just all kind of makes my life flash before my eyes. I'm over here in this really nice part of town now. I got a place over here. Life is just really good for me. And it hasn't been like that all the time. From what they call the other side of the tracks, it's been a real crazy ride for me. We had a great time last night, but it just really made me think about how life has come about and changes, the magical stuff that has happened and will continue to happen, because I know how life works now. I know how to make the magic of life work. You see, I started this journey when I was a little kid, and I was reading one of my favorite author's works, and he really inspired me to live a life worth living. So every now and then, I like to go back to the old neighborhood, see how everybody's living, reminisce on how I used to live, and how different it is now. The city is beautiful. It's amazing. I have a penthouse in that building right there. Also own a lot of real estate around. I drive any kind of car I want, take vacations whenever I like, and I just have the most beautiful relationships, friendships, anything you can imagine. I have it all to myself right now. It just wasn't like that. It's amazing that it is like that now. It's kind of crazy seeing how people go through things from time to time. Weird stuff. But it's all from a projection of self. It comes directly from within themselves. All the good, bad, the ugly, it's from a projection within yourself. And that's what I used to learn from my reading when I was a kid. And I always thought it was like a fairy tale. I thought it was something that was just a magic thing, a fictional story. But Arthur X, everything he wrote about was real.
Champagne, vodka, like the food.
That's the municipal building. That's where Big Kirk used to work. Big Kirk used to be a friend of my dad. My dad, he ran a gambling house, and he was also a drug dealer. Used to get the drugs from Big Kirk. Big Kirk was a city councilman. He was aspiring to be a mayor. And with my dad's help, he had a pretty good link to the city. Well, the underworld of the city, that is. They would work together all the time. My dad was basically doing his dirty work and trying to keep our food on the table. Big Kirk would help us out by staging off the cops. I don't know what exactly he did for him, but they never would bother my dad. And whenever they did, on the off chance that they did, my dad just called Big Kirk, and everything would be better. They'd go away real quick. No issues. That is until my dad killed that guy.
Hello, what you want now?
What's good, man?
I ain't loaning you shit.
Thinking about getting a phone.
It was a very wild summer that time. It was always people in the house. It being a gambling house and a crack house at the same time. Well, shouldn't just say crack house, because people bought everything from my dad. Crack, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, whatever somebody was using, my dad had it to sell. He was getting it from Big Kirk. I don't know where Big Kirk got it from,
Hey, boo.
but I think he got it from the cops when they busted somebody else.
Hello. What you want now?
What's good, man?
I ain't loaning you shit.
Thinking about getting the phone. I do comply. Run, homie.
Yeah, tomorrow's my weekly Hornets trip.
Hey, boo! I knew you couldn't stay away!
It's my old home house. This is where I grew up. This is where everything happened. It seemed like a party every day almost. Guys would be coming in the house to gamble, and it was just always something going on. My sister and my brother live here now. They maintain it fairly well. I just always get this nostalgic feeling. And I come back and
It was horrible, but you can't keep your eyes off it. This fight was probably the worst fight I've ever seen. I mean, it's like a 5-car crash. It was horrible, but you can't keep your eyes off it.
look around and stuff. Look into my bedroom. That's where I would go to retreat from all the foolishness, all the craziness. And I would read my books, sit on my bed, relax, read my books silently. This is where I just got away from it all. It was easy. I loved Arthur X's stories. He had this one. It was like an adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. But it was from the perspective of the witch and the Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch was actually very good and loving. The flying monkeys worked for her after saving her. And they were all working for the Wizard of Oz. You see, the bad witch in the story was evil. But in truth, from the perspective of Arthur X anyway, the good witch was evil. She was the ex-wife of Oz. And she was trying to get possession of those slippers in order to defeat Oz. Oz was regularly on missions to save the world, and he moved around through tornadoes. And I'll stay into these dreamy things until one day it all came tumbling down. One of the patrons of my dad, he decided to go into my mom's room. He said he was drunk and didn't know what he was doing. My dad wasn't hearing that. In addition, he owed my dad some money. So I think it was just an excuse for my dad to do what he did. One thing led to another, and eventually my dad ended up killing him.
I think Jack keep messing that killing out, lining out that motherfucker.
Yo, some better motherfuckers, man.
What the fuck, man? Fucking
I don't know if Dad felt like he was indispensable, being that Big Kirk was always having his back. But Dad went away for a long time after that one. And me and Lil Kirk, we got real tight. Lil Kirk used to watch my back. I used to walk to school for the first time when I got into elementary school, and I felt like such a big boy. Lil Kirk saved me one day. Kirk didn't mind scaring people, but he had something to back it up with. He was real strong, straggly kid, but real strong. And for a white kid, he really held his own. I think that had a lot to do with his dad, being who he was and everything. Our city is kind of Big Kirk's family. And the poor kids, like my family, we all went to the same school because everything was mashed in right there together. You could literally walk. This shit I'm talking about. There was always some shit going on over here. But you could literally walk to $1 million house in 2 or 3 minutes from my house. Not that we were doing particularly bad or anything, but it just wasn't great.
Lately, my bladder got a mind of its own. I guess that's the menopause act. What are you talking about?
Whenever I walk around here, I'm always looking at properties and wanting to come back and invest in the community. But being a seasoned investor, I know better. I need much more than I have to turn this place around. And even if I did turn it around, I'd be pushing the people out that are actually here. They wouldn't be able to afford to live in a place that I created. Other guys that's down with the gentrification, they don't care anything about that because they don't care anything about my neighborhood. Nothing like I do anyway. I'll tell you more about my friend, Lil Kirk, later. We became best friends after he saved me from that guy robbing me. He saved me a couple times. One day, crackhead chased me off into that car wash. Lil Kirk was a lot like Big Kirk. He sold drugs too. Except he sold them for himself. Lil Kirk wasn't all polished like his dad. He was a lot like the neighborhood kids. Except he wasn't really from the neighborhood. Not like we were anyway. One day, I chased a crackhead off into this abandoned car wash. He was trying to trick me. He had stole some of Lil Kirk's drugs that I was supposed to be watching for him and ran off into the car wash. Lil Kirk happened to see me running behind him, and he came in the back door of the car wash.
You're coming to church with me.
The struggle continues.
Lil Kirk killed the guy. Everybody in the neighborhood thought I did it. Truth is, I was scared to death. But after that episode, I wasn't scared of anything.
Some days, I feel like I'm living in paradise.
It really made me kind of toughen up a bit. I became more affiliated with the people.
Yo, that's my boy Franklin.
I started to get to know him a little better.
Every day is a blessing.
And with my dad being gone, I eventually started selling drugs with Lil Kirk. We needed to make money some kind of way. That's all I knew was to hustle. That's it. That's my block. And that's my bro.
Yeah, me
used to want to buy this church all the time. Never happened. And I still have fantasies about buying it and turning it into a loft type thing. I probably won't though. I don't know if I should invest in the hood like that. Honestly, I don't belong over here anymore. And I really wouldn't come back over here anymore if it wasn't for my family coming to visit my sister and my brother. There they go right there. What's up, bro? I was just in the neighborhood checking out things. Hope everything is good with y'all.
You acting like a real sellout.
My brother has mental issues, so I don't hang out with him that much. But I still try to take care of him as best I can. Let me get out of here. Time to go back to normalcy, where I belong.